The storm came without warning. One moment, the sea was calm beneath the fading orange sky. The next, dark clouds swallowed the horizon, and waves rose like mountains ready to crush anything daring enough to float. Mateo, a young Filipino sailor on his first long voyage, gripped the rail of the ship as the world turned into a roaring chaos of wind and water. "Steady!" the captain shouted, but even his voice trembled against the fury of the storm. The ship groaned as if in pain. Rain whipped across Mateo's face, but what hurt more was the fear, cold, sharp, and creeping into his bones. He had heard stories of nights like this, nights sailors called the sea's judgment. But hearing stories was one thing. Living inside the storm was another. When the ship tilted dangerously, Mateo scrambled, slipped, and fell. For one terrifying moment, the ocean claimed him. He plunged into the freezing depths. Light vanished. The world became a crushing silence, broken only by the pounding of his own heart. He kicked, fought, clawed upward until he broke through the surface, gasping for air. The ship was gone. Only darkness and waves remained. Mateo clung to a broken piece of wood, shivering. The wind howled like a wounded beast, and each passing minute felt like another tiny death. He had never prayed as hard as he did that night. But fear whispered cruelly, "No one knows where you are. No one is coming. This is your last night." He wanted to believe it. The cold made his muscles numb, his thoughts heavy, his will fading. But then, through the darkness, he remembered something. His mother's voice. The last word she told him before he boarded the ship months ago. "Anak, kung may oras na gusto mo nang sumuko, tandaan mo, may naghihintay sa iyo. Umuwi ka. Kahit gaano kahirap, bumalik ka sa amin." Those words sparked a small, trembling ember inside him, tiny but warm. Hope. It wasn't enough to calm the ocean, but it was enough to keep him awake, enough to make him grip the floating plank tighter, enough to make him whisper to himself between chattering teeth, "I will go home. I will survive this night." Hours dragged like eternity. The sky stayed black. The storm refused to rest. But Mateo fought for every breath, refusing to let the night win. He survived on memories, his father teaching him to fish, his sister running barefoot by the shore, the smell of sinangag waking him at dawn. He clung to them as if they were lifelines. And somewhere between the waves, he realized something. Hope doesn't have to be loud, it only has to stay. By the time dawn broke, the sea had calmed. The first faint glow touched the horizon, pale but real. Mateo could barely keep his eyes open, but the light made him smile weakly. He had survived the longest night. A distant horn echoed across the water. A rescue ship, a small silhouette moving toward him. He tried to wave, but didn't have the strength. Still, a sailor on deck spotted him. Within minutes, strong arms lifted him aboard. Mateo collapsed, exhausted but alive, tears mixing with seawater as he whispered, "Salamat, I'm going home." Years later, Mateo would tell his story not as a tale of survival, but of hope. He would sit by the shore with children gathered around him and say, "The storm takes many things, strength, courage, sometimes even faith. But if you keep even a single spark of hope alive, that spark will carry you to morning." And whenever people asked how he survived that night, his answer was always the same. "I kept hope, and hope kept me,